Okay, just waiting. Just waiting for Casey to join us. We'll get started momentarily. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, Ivy. Okay. Give him a few minutes. Let him know that I'm on. We tried this earlier, but we had the wrong time zone, so. Request to join. Bear with me. Okay. Oh, here it is. Add. All right, you guys are gonna have to have tremendous patience here. For some reason, I am not able to add him. Let me. Ah, goodness gracious. If anybody has any ideas what I'm doing wrong, feel free to let me know. Trying to add the moderator. Okay, I see that he's joined. Okay, here we go. It's about ready to work. Momentarily. Send a request to be. Jeez. Okay, I feel like this is gonna work. There you are.
We made it!
Oh my gosh, I'm sweating in my office now.
Oh, well, I just got out of a sauna, so I'm also sweaty too. So my whole family's down cold. They're all sick. So
I heard this. Oh man. All
wah
right.
wah.
Well,
So
we'll do
anyways,
our best.
yeah, well, I mean, saunas are so good because you're sweating out all those toxins. And so, anyways, if I'm dabbing my forehead, it's because of all the after effects of being in a sauna.
Well, if I'm dabbing mine, it's because I'm in menopause, so
There you go.
we'll do our
Well, I'm
best.
glad we got our timing aligned too.
Yes, for sure. So if you're ready, we'll just get started.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. You can follow Casey at Marriage 365. You can follow myself at Keisha W. Scott. Today I'm talking with Casey Caston, half of the couple behind The Marriage Habit, a simple daily approach to helping couples stay connected and intentional in their marriage. Casey Caston, welcome to Cake for Dinner.
Oh, thank you so much, Keisha. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think if you're okay with it, I'd love to just jump into first kind of why you guys wrote the book.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to say that, most couples unintentionally install bad habits in their marriage. And those are patterns of avoidance, I hear a lot of people say, oh, we're trying to find time for each other, but we can't. Or, as they say, the average couple spends less than 2 minutes a day connecting, right? So we're not giving our marriage enough time because we're super busy. We got the routines, we've got chores, we're raising kids.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we've uncovered is so many of us, we live our lives of intention in certain areas and domains, like our career, right?
Yep.
We go to conferences. We went to school for that. We're very intentional about structuring meetings. If you're a business owner, right? You're managing employees and company culture and KPIs and leading indicators. And we've
Mm-hmm.
created all these systems and structures that create success. But when I work and I coach with like high performing, hard driving professional athletes that, show so much courage and determination to create
Yes.
success in their life. But then when they walk through the front door of their home, it's
Yeah.
just like anything goes. We're very reactive. We have no system or structure. Um, there's a lot of mystery around, well, how do I make this work? And then
Mm-hmm.
I think we live in a culture that wants to pursue comfort and convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know this about marriage is there's parts of marriage that are uncomfortable and inconvenient. But if
Yes.
that's what we're trying to pursue as a culture, then
Mm-hmm.
that's going to butt up against what kind of attitudes and mindsets do we need to have around marriage?
It's kind of wild. I'm a certified parenting coach, and now that you mention it, I'm kind of seeing it the same way. It's like, as a pharmaceutical rep, I was trained, or I have a master's in psychology, so I went to school. But when we bump up against things like parenting or marriage, we're just out there in the wild, doing our best. What a poor strategy. So I'm grateful that you wrote this book.
Mm,
Did you guys struggle as a couple in a way that made you think, hey, there's not enough information out there for people? Was there some kind of, was there a
yeah.
premise to the book?
Yeah. So the premise really is couples don't need more couples therapy.
Right.
They need better tools.
Mm.
And we get messaged a lot. Now, I think there's some great therapists out there that do
Sure.
teach tools and help guide couples. But for the majority of people, and as it's reflected in our DMs, a lot of couples are kind of stuck in this talk therapy that doesn't get them moving in the right direction. So
Right.
again, systems and structures, systems and structures. And I know that doesn't sound romantic. I know that doesn't sound like, ooh,
But
that
the
that's all the
romance
emotion.
that comes as a result is romantic. I mean, I think that, it's like going to the gym. It's not super fun to lift weights, but when you look in the mirror 6 months later, it's great.
Yeah, 100%. So I would always say the structure and the systems actually is the container by which
Mm-hmm.
all that love, connection, fun, laughter is housed. And the best way I can explain it is scheduling sex.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of busy couples schedule sex because they know it's important and
Mm-hmm.
they want to prioritize it. So it goes in their calendar. Wednesday is hump day, literally. And it's, kids are in youth group and the house is to ourselves. So it's like one of these
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed times where, hey, we are going to prioritize sex. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we get a lot of guff on social media saying, oh, that takes all the romance out of it. But I'll tell you right now, anybody that's ever done that, never at the end of their session goes, well, that was just a waste of time.
I wish I didn't do right. Yeah.
Or yeah, or I could have been doing something better, or I don't feel the romance.
Yeah.
No, what we're saying is there's a system that you can put into place to prioritize your marriage. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, our calendars are the greatest reflection of our value system. What we value
Mm-hmm.
goes into the calendar. So when I'm coaching couples, I said, show me in your calendar where your marriage is.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And they go, oh, well, we're struggling to find time. Okay, well, you don't find time, you
Mm-hmm.
make time. And if you need to make time because your life is very busy, then you have to schedule it.
Yeah. My husband and I schedule morning reading. So we every morning get up, we have our coffee, we have specific stuff that we read, and that's been super positive for us. I think so. questions create connection, it says in the book.
Mm,
So why questions, like as the foundation of the marriage habit? Tell me a little bit more about that.
that's a great question. Um, so the number one way to build emotional intimacy in the relationship, I'm here to demystify it for all you husbands watching, okay? Gentlemen, lean in. The emotional intimacy is created when we start to ask better questions.
Mm.
We call them connecting questions as a function. Now, when we dated each other, when we're if you just cycle back to think about those dating years, those early months were filled with conversations like, tell me about your mom, tell me about your dad, what kind of hopes and dreams do you have for your life, where do you want to go, what was your bedroom like as a teenager, right? I mean,
Yes.
we ask all these great questions because honestly, between the novelty and the love drug of that kind of oxytocin
Mm-hmm.
dopamine hit of meeting someone new and getting to learn who they are fuels that great questions like, tell me more about yourself, I need to know. Then as the relationship matures, especially once we get into marriage, we're parenting, we're in the wash rinse routine of life, we can kind of slip into very transactional conversations. Did you pay that bill? What's for dinner? Can we have sex? Right? How was your day?
Right.
Classic one.
Yes.
And that kind of transactional level of conversation doesn't build that emotional intimacy. So we did this when we're dating. Now we kind of slip out of that when we're
Mm-hmm.
married, which is again why we really want to provide a resource and tool, because some people are like, I don't even know what to ask. Like, great. There's connecting questions in the
Yeah.
book that give you the prompts to then have that kind of conversation.
Was there a question in the book that changed your marriage, or is there a specific question that you kind of a go-to question or one that you recommend?
They're like all my babies, like which one's your favorite?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
um, I wouldn't say there's one particular question that unlocked anything, but there is a system by which Megan and I have these regular check-ins. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as a business owner, I do this exact same thing with my employees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't I sit down and chat with Megan? And it's the start, stop, keep. What do we need to start doing? What do we need to stop doing? What should we keep doing? And it's kind of just this feedback loop, but a very quick, simple
Yes,
trick
I
of
love that.
the mind of just saying, hey, babe, like, let's check in, make sure we're aligned. What do we
Yep.
need to start doing in our relationship, but we're not currently doing?
How often do you recommend a meeting like that?
I recommend a monthly check in. In
Okay.
fact, we have a resource called Preventing Conflict Through Emotional Check ins. Because, Keisha, and you know this, like most conflict
Mm-hmm.
is derived from misalignment,
Totally.
right?
Totally.
We're not on the same page. There's a
Yep.
missed expectation. You were supposed to do this for me. You didn't do that. Or there's a lot of assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
right? The unspoken, requests.
Mm-hmm.
Why weren't you there for me? I was crying. You needed to be there. I expected you to do something for me. So we have these misalignment, and that start, stop, keep kind of brings back to alignment. Like, are we doing good?
Yes.
Are we on the same page?
I should send you. I just interviewed an author recently. She wrote a book called The Cost of Quiet. And it talks a lot about,
Mm.
when you're not speaking up and saying what you need or how you feel, often it leads to resentment, which is, avoided by taking the steps that you're talking about. So I
Yeah.
really like that.
So actually, Keisha, one of the tools, it's my favorite tool to install in anyone's what I call a relationship operating system.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we have business operating systems, this
Sure.
is your marriage or relationship operating system. We talk about the weekly marriage business meeting. And this tool, I mean, our worksheet's been, I think, downloaded over 1 million times on our app. It's a weekly tool. I think it's
What
habit
page
number.
is that on?
It is on page 36, the weekly marriage business meeting.
I'm going to have my weekly meeting tonight.
So
Okay.
we actually have the worksheet in the book, which
Yep.
I want to make sure people can use. And this is the structure that Megan and I use every single week to create alignment.
Mm.
It's just like a business meeting. It's not sexy or romantic. Takes about 30 to 45 minutes. We do it Sundays at 7 p.m. And we first of all go through the week looking at our schedules, and we
Mm-hmm.
populate the calendar. Things like who's picking what kid up from water polo. Um, oh, Kylie's got practice, so we need to make sure that she's got a ride. We've got a podcast we're on.
Yeah.
We're on with Keisha.
Yeah.
Um, our meal plan. Like, what's going on? Okay, we're gonna pick up Chipotle tonight because tonight's a really busy night and we just need something easy.
Yeah.
Um, and then budget. Like, we'll talk about and look at the week ahead and go, okay, I need brakes for the car, so that's going to cost $700. And we have kind of a rule, like, hey, if there's a certain dollar amount that we're looking at to spend, maybe it's 300 for some families, and it's been for us, $100 is $100,
Yeah.
right? And we just need it.
We have a dollar amount too. We've had that for a super long time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so and not necessarily even to say like, oh, you can't get that. It's
No.
just bringing alignment. Like, hey, I'm gonna be going to the mechanics. It's gonna cost a lot this time. Self care. So, for
Yeah.
example, I put my workouts in the calendar.
Okay.
Um, my son. So I'm all sweaty because of the sauna, but my son and I go together. We do
Yeah.
saunas and ice baths, so it's just a bonding activity. But we'll look in the calendar to go, okay, well, when can I do that with him? So I'm scheduling even appointments with my kids
Yeah.
or a date night with my daughter.
Oh,
Um,
I love that.
Connection time is really important. We used to call it date nights, but then I think people got hung up on this idea about, well, what if we can't go out this week? Okay, well, you still can actually schedule time for us to connect.
And
So
what is there, are there things that are or aren't allowed in that connection? Like, are there specific, I'm
I
guessing
love,
the phone isn't a part of it.
yes, I feel like that was a softball. Like, here you go, just lob it over the plate.
I'm recording this for my husband.
Okay, 3 rules for date night or
Okay.
connection time, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
No talking about work,
Okay.
no talking about the kids. I know they're cute, but this is your time for connection. And no talking about money because it's not sexy.
Yes.
So we put all of those aside. Now you got to vent about work, great, make time, and then say, hey, you get 5 minutes to work on that, and then let's move on. Connection time is about establishing that friendship that you have with your partner.
Mhm.
It's moving off of roommate and co-parenting,
Mhm.
dynamics and moving into friendship, using those connecting questions, playing a card game, taking a walk. It's those
You
are
guys should make
precious,
a
precious
card
time.
game. I think you should make a card game.
A card game.
Yes. Like a marriage 365 card game. So it goes with the book and then you can just ask these questions.
Okay. Okay.
I'm always trying to come up with ideas.
I love it. A deck of cards with connecting questions on it.
Mm.
I love it.
Because I think sometimes people, like you said, you alluded to earlier, people aren't sure what to ask.
Yes.
Um,
Well, we did come up with a book already.
oh, good. All right, you're ahead of me.
365 connecting questions for couples. We actually
Awesome.
we inked a 3-book deal with Penguin Random House, and this was our
Okay.
first book, and then the Marriage Habit, which outlines basically our top 10 habits that
Mhm.
couples can apply to their relationship, um, and find immediate wins. And it kind of reads like a handbook,
Yeah.
Keisha, where you could read it cover to cover. Hope you do. But you could also just look at the 10 habits and drop into one habit and find immediate success. Um, can I just tell you a quick
Yes.
story that warms my heart?
Please
Um,
do.
yeah, so I was actually speaking at a business owners convention, bunch of entrepreneurs, and I'm like, hey, don't forget about your marriage. Don't sacrifice your marriage for success and win where it matters most. And I taught one of this guy. He runs a $200 million home construction company.
Hmm.
He's like, Casey, I can move mountains and I have like all these things at my disposal. But my relationship with my wife, it feels like it's constantly this moving target, and I don't even know. I'm like lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, I said, okay, I dropped into habit number 9, which is the unsolicited apologies.
Cool.
Is that right? I don't know. It's habit 8, unsolicited apologies.
Okay.
I said, here's what you're going to do. And we gave him the 4-step framework of an apology. And I said, after this breakout session, call her, just drop this on her lap, come back and tell me what changed, or like if anything happened. You know, if it does, let me know. So he comes back about an hour later, crying.
Oh,
I mean, his this big guy, he's buff too. He's bawling his eyes out, and he's like, I gave an apology. I worked with him on like an identifying this one issue. I
sure.
said, I gave an apology to my wife, and she immediately broke down crying, and
Mhm.
something completely shifted in our relationship. And it can get me emotional because it's so cool, like to demystify something that a lot of people are like, how do I make relationships work?
Right.
And I think that's, Keisha, a passion point for me of like, we just need better tools. We don't need principles. We don't need theories. You don't need to understand your attachment style. We just
Right.
need practical and tactical tools. And when couples implement them, it's guaranteeing success.
Mm.
Literally guaranteeing success.
It does call it the magic wand of marriage. I love that. I
Well,
love
the
that.
idea is that a lot of couples have resentment and
Yes.
unforgiveness that clogs up
Right.
our ability to find connection, because
Mhm.
the pain of the past is kind of like glasses, right?
Mhm.
And the pain of the past is actually telling you what the narrative of the present is. That
Right.
my spouse is my adversary.
Yes. And it's so hard to get past that stuff. I love that he went and did it. Like,
I know.
I work a lot with teenagers. There's nothing like getting feedback, especially when it's truly impacting someone's life.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have like one or two more questions, then I want to open it up and let other people ask questions. Mm, After working with so many couples, what's the one thing most couples are missing about marriage?
Uh, we'll backtrack about 5 minutes. An unsolicited apology.
Mm,
What the reason why we call it the magic wand is because I've in my coaching practice, I will walk couples through and them doing the apology. During our intensives, we'll spend 4 to 5 hours of them apologizing to each other, couple. And I've watched years of resentment, years of avoidance, years of unforgiveness literally melt away and
wow.
disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody that's listening that has that dark passenger,
Mm,
that kind of just that grinding sense of like, I'm hurting. My partner doesn't see. My partner's not engaging.
mm-hmm.
And I want to say that an apology, which will feel totally unfair because it's not warranted, they're not deserving of an apology, but providing an apology can bring defenses down and provide a pathway for reconnection, especially for disconnected couples.
I also think it can provide permission for your partner then to like because really with an apology you're sort of owning your part, you're taking accountability. So, maybe not always, but maybe it also provides permission for your partner to then take accountability for themselves or at
Totally.
least sort of set that framework for moving forward.
Correct. And you said one of the key words, accountability,
Mm-hmm.
because love is not the foundation of marriage.
Right.
Trust is.
Mm.
Trust tells us who is safe enough for us to love.
Yes.
Trust is the open door to say, okay, I can be vulnerable with them. Now, if we're not accountable for our actions, that's a core tenet to trust.
Right.
Accountability,
That'd be a
ownership.
tough one to get past.
Yeah, so there's a lot of couples, maybe even in a low trust marriage, maybe they don't even recognize the signs. But if there's that lack of ownership for these are the things that I've done and here's how it's made you feel and validating that that kind of activity, I want to, I'll say this from the highest mountains, is an apology. It's the most underrated and underutilized tool in intimate relationships.
I love that. So if you're on here, go and apologize this evening.
Yes, find any excuse. It
Yes,
doesn't
yes.
have to be the big ones.
I love that. Well, I do want to save a little time and open it up. If anybody has any questions, feel free to send them in. If we don't get any specifics, then I do have one or two more. Give it a
Mm.
second. While people are writing them, how do you recommend busy couples actually use this book day to day? So
Mm.
I think you pointed out that you don't have to read the whole thing,
Yeah.
but you can almost read it like a manual, right? So kind of
Well,
work on what's you feel you need to.
yeah, definitely a handbook where you could jump in and go, you know, don't try to attempt to put all 10 habits in play at the same time because that can be overwhelming. But
Mm-hmm.
a great, maybe a 10-week challenge is, hey, this week we're going to focus in on installing the weekly marriage business meeting or the
Mm-hmm.
60-second blessing or love lists where we write out exactly how do I want my spouse to love me, which, we talk about assumptions.
Yes.
This is the opposite of running off of assumptions and finding alignment. So I think that that's great. There's also a third section. I just want to say, busy couples. I want to just point out that I think there's a lot of people that are working on their marriage by themselves.
Yes.
And I want to just say, if that's you, you're not alone. We actually have the third part of this book is all about how do you save your marriage by yourself?
Mm.
Because you can. And what I don't want people to do is lose hope. So hope is important. Hope is not a strategy, though.
It's not, but I'm glad you included that. It actually goes to one of the questions somebody just wrote in. What about a spouse who's not into scheduling, but the other spouse is very routine oriented?
Yeah. So I mean, look at Megan is type A and I'm type B. I've got a raging case of ADHD. So my body naturally wants to push away from any sort of structure that's going to hold me back.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a level of having some intention to say, on Tuesday, I'm intending for this hour to be a time that I work out. Now, you can call an audible on yourself and say, you know what, right now is not convenient. I got something pressing. I'm going to move it back a half an hour.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of moving calendar events, excuse me, calendar events like chips. You just got to
Yes.
move back or move it forward. I'm obviously our scheduling was not aligned, right? So just like a chip, you kind of go, okay, well, it didn't happen now,
That's
happens
it.
now.
Right. Well, also,
So
I think it's wonderful too to have kind of different people, different personalities in a marriage. And I think, like in my marriage, we're sort of always trying to work towards the middle. I mean, my husband is not scheduled. Like he thinks he's a 20-year-old surfer at all times. He's also oddly a CEO.
yeah,
Um, but I'm like,
okay.
okay, let's do this at this time. And so we're kind of always just trying to work towards the middle.
You know what? So I'm so glad you brought that up. And the Wandering Samoan, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. We have a chapter dedicated on how to leverage your differences.
Oh, wow. I love
Here's what I
that.
would say. Most couples look at their opposites attract when we're dating. Then we get married, and now your difference becomes a liability.
Yes. Or at the
And
very
you
least, annoying.
very much so annoying. And why can't you think like me? Why can't you do your day like me? And because we're our lives are colliding at such frequency when we're married.
Mm-hmm.
All those differences become like, why, why can't you load the dishwasher like me? Or like, why can't you remember this? Or why are you losing your keys all the time?
The funny part is a lot of times, at least I'll speak for myself, in the beginning, that stuff is so amazing. Like the fact that my husband could just like change his mind on a whim, or we would make decisions like last minute. Oh, let's fly here and pick apples. Like so wild. I was so attracted to that. But now I'm like, look, buddy, we got 3 kids.
So I actually talk about planner. Is it backwards?
I can read backwards. Don't worry,
Okay,
Casey.
planner versus go with the flow. So we talk
Oh,
about this
yeah.
difference, the Wandering Simone, in the book. Now, here's the reframe. What if your partner's differences are one of your greatest assets as a couple?
Mm, mm,
Because you know this with parenting. You need feminine energy and you need masculine energy.
mm-hmm.
Like the two
Well, that's such a
differences.
good reframe because instead of being annoyed by it or whatever, it possibly adds, sprinkles something, some special ingredient into the marriage that is useful.
Okay, so here's how we reframed it. Planner versus go with the flow. One keeps things organized, the other keeps things fun. Together, you create a balance between structure and spontaneity.
Such
Okay?
a better perspective.
Yeah. Okay, listen to this. Thinker versus feeler.
Mm,
Which one are you, Keisha? Are you the thinker or the feeler?
mm. I'm a Gemini, so I could be both, but I'm probably the thinker in my dynamic. I'm the thinker.
Yeah. So I'm the feeler. Megan's more the thinker. So one thinks clearly, one feels deeply.
Mm,
Together, you lead with heart and wisdom.
wow, great stuff.
Okay. Uh, let's talk about fighters versus flighters, right? One pushes towards resolution, one likes space to process.
Mm-hmm.
But together, you learn when to engage and when to pause.
That's so good.
So rather than going, why can't he sit down and talk to me about his relationship? Like, know that's a limiting belief, and that's the story you're telling yourself. Then you're gonna see your differences as that a weakness and a liability.
Yeah, and it's also just the lens that you're looking through that creates like that negativity is just not a great. Well, I'm gonna literally finish this tonight.
Hey,
Let
okay.
me get to this last. Someone said, I've already finished this book on Audible. It was incredible. I've been in therapy, couples therapy, marriage programs, and the way it's written is so simple to understand. Thank you, Casey and Megan. Oh, that's so
Oh, well,
great.
thank you, Garrett. I appreciate that. That was really fun, by the way, to narrate our own book.
Somebody wants to know the name of the book. It is The Marriage Habit. I'm glad. Let's see. 22. Okay, yes, the name of the book. And I will link that in the show notes. It's the Marriage Habit, Casey and Megan Caston.
Yes.
And if nobody else has any questions, do you want to just send us off with something great?
Something. Well, I'll end with our tagline,
Great.
which is, if you want to make a better marriage, it starts by making a better you.
Mm,
And the reason why that is a very empowering and liberating statement is that no one should ever have to say, like, I'm stuck, my spouse won't participate, and then just kind of, sit back and
right.
not engage in their marriage. What that is it's empowering. It's
Yes.
empowering to be able to say, there are things I can do to better myself.
Mm-hmm.
Megan and I, we are very vulnerable with our story, how the first 3 years were straight up just all fighting. There was like no love. By the end of 3 years, we hated each other. Megan got herself help. For 13 months, she worked on herself.
Mm,
And what I have to say is, because marriage is a dynamic where two are doing a dance. So
yep.
we were doing the toxic tango.
Yes.
right? And then Megan did start doing the cha-cha. And I had to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to like, oh, wait, we're doing something different. Now, we live in a blame culture, and it's easier to say, it's my spouse, it's their problem. They're the one that's stuck. They're the one that's not doing and engaging. And I think the payoff that you get by saying that, I don't have to do anything.
After doing it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to disrupt your world just for a second and say, that is not true. You can absolutely engage in a healthy way. And I think, Keisha, you said something earlier about, like setting the pattern,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, is that guaranteeing your spouse will go, what? This is amazing. Let's do this way now. No. But here's the thing. Survey shows that over 76% of divorcees live with regret,
Mm.
meaning people are walking away from marriages then regretting the fact that didn't do everything possible to ensure that I'm doing my part.
Right. So at the worst case scenario, I guess, is that the marriage ends. You will be better for having done the work on yourself, regardless, and hopefully, you know, you have a better ending. But I love the idea that nobody is left out of this book.
No.
If your partner isn't willing at this time to engage, hopefully they will be. I'm super excited to start some of this stuff with my husband. Thank
Yes.
you so much for coming on to
Oh,
Cake for Dinner. And for those of you watching, please follow Casey and Megan at Marriage 365. And I am at Keisha W. Scott. This is the podcast, Cake
cake for
for
dinner.
Dinner. I'm going to be doing lives every Wednesday at noon, usually. We had a little timing mix up there. But yeah, so call in or send a DM, follow us both. Super happy to provide information about marriage and parenting and motherhood. And Casey, thank you so much again for
Oh,
joining.
I'm honored. Thank you for giving me a voice and a platform. Appreciate that so much.
Awesome. Tell Megan we hope she feels better. Talk soon.
Yes. I'm going to go play a doctor now.
Good night or bye bye.
Bye.